right, we are gonna start the IQ test from Test Guides. And as an astute viewer pointed out, real IQ tests don't have anything like words on them, vocabulary, rearranged letters, stuff like that would be not just uncommon. I just don't think you'd find it on a real IQ test administered by like a psychologist or anything. But you find this sort of thing a lot online. So quickly here, multiple choice theory. Continent has only 7 possible answers. Ocean has only 4. There's tons of cities, tons of animals. Continent, it's not Asia, not Africa, not North America, not South America, not Europe, not Australia. It is almost Antarctica, but we're missing an A, making it Antarctic, which is the name of an ocean, which is also called the Southern Ocean, but I think the name Antarctic Ocean is also acceptable. So we'll lock that one in. What's the next number in the series? We've got 7 to 10, 10 to 16, 28. So we've got a gap of 3, gap of 6, gap of 12, gap of 24. Implies a gap of 48, which brings us exactly to 100. This, I think, is more the type of thing that you're going to find on an actual IQ test, like pattern recognition stuff. So which figure belongs in the empty spot? We've got triangle, hexagon, cross, triangle, cross, hexagon. So each row has one of each, and I think in that looping order. Then we've got solid, hollow, dotted. Solid, hollow, dotted. So I think we're looking for a triangle with the hollow one, which is number 3. Which conclusion follows from the statements with absolute certainty? 1 is none of the runners is a teacher. 2, all of the attendees are runners. Then we know that none of the runners so some drones are teachers is right out. There's no drones of the question. No runners are attendees. In fact, all the runners are attendees. Teachers are not attendees. None of the runners is a teacher, but all the attendees are runners. So it's going to be that one. The last one, all runners are teachers, is the opposite of true. So that's good. A college professor teaches a class of 80 students. 14 students are business majors. 6 are education majors, and the rest are undecided. What percentage of the class is undecided? So 14 and 6 is 20 out of the 80, which is 25% that are decided. So then 60 out of 80 are undecided, which is 75% of the class. Afraid is to scared, as brave is to courageous, cowardly, timid, or trustworthy. Those are opposites. That's not quite the same. It is courageous. It's the same as brave. An organization hosts monthly meals for families in the community. In March, 70 people attended the meal. In April, 60 attended. Their highest attendance was in May, with 20 more than April. So May was 80. What is their average monthly attendance? So 70 plus 60 plus 80 is 210. Or you could just say 70 and then 60 is 10 below and 80 is 10 above. So the average is 70 either way. So 210 divided by 3 is 70. Looking at the answers, obviously 70 is the right answer. I think that the question, though, should actually be slightly different. So it says they do monthly meals for families in the community. Then they tell you 3 months and asks what the average monthly attendance is. But they should at least say they've been doing it for 3 months, or what is the average of the 3 months. Because this implies that they've done it longer than the 3 months that they told you. Therefore, it's actually not possible to calculate what the average is. But clearly that's not an answer, so they want the 210. I'm pretty sure. Well, I mean, I'm certain, because uncertain is not an answer. Which of the figures belongs in the empty spot? Here we have ... stays, ... comes, ... stays, so it's like fill in, and the rest are static. Here, dot. So these two stay, that one stays, this one fills in. These two stay, that one stays. This is it just doing that? I think it's just doing that. So this. Yeah. So we're just looking for an L shape, which is number 6. I mean, I do. Thanks for offering, Guitar Man. If the first two statements are true, is the final statement true? Miss Jones is responsible for collecting all of the 5th grade class's money for the school fundraiser. Sally attends Mrs. Jones's school. Mrs. Jones is responsible for collecting Sally's money for the fundraiser. So Mrs. Jones collects for the 5th grade class. Sally goes to the same school but is not necessarily in the 5th grade class. However, she is also not necessarily not in the 5th grade class. So the final statement does not logically follow from the first two things, but I cannot tell you if it's actually true or not. She could be in that class. I just don't know that she is. So I think our answer is uncertain. We can't say yes or no. Which 3 choices are needed to create the figure on the left? So we've got only pieces of this. Okay, that's important. Only pieces of the same color may overlap. So we can, I need this corner and it only exists in one. So C must be involved because none others have it. And this one has the wrong one. So C must be involved, but D cannot be involved. And then if C is involved, then I need are you right? You're right. So I need the yellow here. I need the yellow here. So I think I need both B and D. And then I've got my blue. And I've got my 2 gray. So I simply don't need A. I think A could sit over top of it, but it's redundant. So I think it's just B, C, and D. Which of the 3 following words have the same meaning? Outstanding, atypical, intractable, distinguished, and mediocre. Outstanding has positive connotations. Atypical just means abnormal. Intractable doesn't relate to that. Distinguished could again be set apart, and mediocre kind of means in the middle. So I think if you read outstanding as literally an outlier, atypical is an outlier, and distinguished is in distinguishing yourself from the group, then I think those, like you wouldn't say you're a distinguished employee and you're an atypical employee, but close enough that they have the same meaning. They can be used interchangeably in some contexts. In this case, what is the missing number in the series? 3981 are times 3 times 3, or times 3 times 9. So 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 9 is 81. But then that doesn't continue. So 3 to 9 is 6. This is obviously isn't. But then 15 to 21 is 6. And then I don't know. And these conspicuously decline by 10. Because that's a weird number. Like, I think they're trying to be misleading with this for sure. Because that obviously has a pattern. But then the pattern does not continue at all. Okay, so if we say that it's the third one declines by 10 and the first one and second one of these, I'm looking at them as like sets of 3, would be 6 below the other one, then this would be 27. But then what arbitrarily picks the 27 to start? 3 times 5 is 15, times 5 is 75, which is not there and is too high. But 3 plus 12 is 15, and 15 plus 12 is 27. So that's the same 27 we want it. So I think that's the pattern. That's not a great pattern, but it'll do. Here we've got which figure belongs in the empty spot again. Upper thing, so 12 o'clock, 5 o'clock. I mean, there's less. 12 o'clock, 5 o'clock, bam, bam. Okay, it's just literally adding them together. So just, if it's blue on the final one. Okay, so I think we're looking for 3 at the top and 2 here. Yeah, 2. The words allude and elude have same meaning, opposite meaning, or unrelated meaning. Allude means to refer to something. Elude means to evade or escape something. Those are pretty unrelated. They are not the same and they're not the opposite. So, unrelated meanings. A movie premiered this weekend. 250 people attended the first showing. Of the 250, 75 were adults above the age of 40. 50 were between the ages of 20 and 40, and 25 were teenagers ages 13 to 19. What percentage of the attendees were children 12 and under? Okay, so we got 75 and 50 is 125 plus 25 is 150, leaving 100, and 100 is 40% of 250. So the children are 40% of the audience. If the first 2 statements are true, is the third statement true? Mr. Reed teaches all of the advanced math classes at his school. Billy attends Mr. Reed's school and is in an advanced math class. Mr. Reed is Billy's math teacher. So Mr. Reed teaches them all. Billy attends the school and is in that class, or in one of those classes. So yes, it does follow that Mr. Reed must be Billy's teacher. He is in a class that Mr. Reed teaches all of. So yes, that is true. Which figure belongs in the empty spot? We've got an eye shape, thing shape, fallen over E. So the bottom is there, the middle is there, the 2 sides are there, but the top isn't. I think this is the exact opposite of the wheel looking one. If they don't overlap, they stay. If they overlap, it disappears. So top disappears, but nothing else overlaps. Here there's a top, there's a bottom, the middle overlaps. Yeah. And I don't think there's any relationship there, like vertically. So here, there should be a bottom line because there's none. This side line should be gone. So I think we should have a triangle and then a random stick up. Triangle with an antenna. And yeah, that's the one we're looking for, is number 5. Angie's profits for March totaled $5,400. If she profited 9 times more in March than in April, what were her April profits? So just 5,400 divided by 9 is 600. And I don't think it's any harder than that. This is obviously the red herring answer if you multiplied this by 9. But we divide by 9. If a store sold 25 pairs of socks, making a 25% profit of $150, how much do they charge for each pair? So I wish they worded this different. you could get to two answers. So if it is a profit on the invested money, then your total sales are $750. If, however, you're saying 25% of your sales are $150, then your total sales are $600. And unfortunately, both those answers are there. So if you take the 750 and divide it by the 25, then you get 30. If you take the 600 and divide it by 5, you get the 24. So unfortunately, both those answers are there. I think it says making a profit of $150, which actually implies that should be above and beyond your costs. So if you made a profit of 150, then I assume your costs were 600 and your profit was 150. But I get the sinking impression that's not what they think it is. That's not what the answer's supposed to be. I think they mean that it's 25% of the sales, which is not right because that's a 33% profit. But I just get the feeling that's what they mean. I'm going to I'm going to put the right answer. So to explain that more. So if you invested $600 somewhere and you said you made 25%, it would be above and beyond the $600. If you invested $450 and made $150, you would say that your profit is 33%. So in case this is wrong, I think though maybe what they're doing is they're saying 25% of the total sales is 150, but they're not saying that. That's not what this says. It says it the first way. But I almost think, let's see what it is. I'm going to put the 30, but I almost get the impression that's not what they want. But I'm going to put it because this is the correct answer, period. And, well, let's see what the answer is at the end. I mean, if this is right, then I'm happy with them. I just somehow from some of the, I just think maybe that's not what they want. But let's see. Which figure belongs in the empty slot? We've got balls, balls, balls. You flip down, you flip up, then you center. Okay, if they're just moving clockwise. So this one comes down here. This one goes up there in movement. Then the next, they move there, and you move there, and that's why I got them in the middle. Here, you would move to the middle, you would move down. That's what happens. And you would move over, you would move up, and you would be in the middle, which is that. Then here, I would say you're going to move there, and these two should be on the end. So I should look for one that's here and two dots, which is this one, 4. Okay, this is the same as the one before, obviously a little different, but same color. Oh, actually not the same colors. It's missing one. Okay, let's look for a block that is only there once again. So this one is only there once, so E must be in. The only way to get that block is E. Any contradictory block, green to orange, it cannot be B. If it cannot be B, then the only middle orange block is D, because B had it and it's out. Then I've got my bottom covered, I've got this side covered, and I've got the bottom, and I got the, so I just need the corner. No, I just need this corner, and B is out, so it's A. So it's A, D, and E. Yeah, A, D, and E. Apathetic is to sympathetic, as blank is to concerned. As callous is to concerned, compassionate, merciful, or kind. Compassionate, merciful, and kind are the same as concern, whereas this is the opposite. I don't know that callous is the opposite of concern, but it's, well, like there's a, apathetic is just not sympathetic, but not necessarily like mean. Callous kind of implies like a meanness, that like you, not only do you not care, but you're like mean about it. But I mean, it's obviously the answer. So callous and concerned are opposites. What is the missing number in the series? 7, 12, 19, blank, 39, 52. 7 to 12 is 5. 12 to 9 is 7. Blank. 39 to 52 is 13. Okay, well, if it's odd numbers that goes up by 2, then we have 5, 7, plus 9 would give us 28, plus 11 would give us 39, and 28 is on the list. So 28, so we're just counting up by 2s in even numbers. A family is planning a vacation traveling 300 miles from their house. If they plan to stop at parks to allow the children to play every 2 hours, how many parks will they visit before they reach their destination, assuming they travel 60 miles per hour? So 5 hours, and they stop every 2 hours. So 2. And we stop at the 2-hour mark, 4-hour mark, and we don't have to stop again at a park. We're at our destination. I don't even know what the trick to this one is. Like, there should be some reason that you can get it wrong. I don't think there is. In this case, I think it's just 2. In the following set of words, which 3 words have similar meanings? Endure, persevere, quit, persist, and alienate. Endure, persevere, and persist are the same. Quit is the opposite. Alienate is a random, fun-sounding word. So those 3 are the same. The word gallant and valiant have the same, opposite, unrelated meanings. They have the same meaning. There's little things like this that tell me that the test is not, like, lacks a degree of precision. The words gallant and valiant have the same meanings, not have same meanings. You could say similar, have similar meanings, but I don't think you can say have same meanings. You need the. And little things like that make me think that 1 or 2 of these, I might be overthinking it, and they want it the simpler thing. You've got a bunch of things. Horizontal. So it seems to alternate between the stripies, but it doesn't. So the verticals, dotted, stripy, hollow, dotted, hollow, stripy, or dotted. Yeah, dotted. I don't know what the hell I'm calling this one. Hollowed. Yeah, so they're following the same loop. So dotted line, checkered line, hollow line. Checkered line, hollow line, dotted line. Yeah, okay. So it's changing in that way. So whatever this is, the verticals should be the checkerboard. The other ones are going... So, okay, there's 2 vertical, 3 vertical, 1 vertical. 1, 2, 3. 3, 1. So I think, again, it's a looping 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So 3 So I think I want 2 vertical checkerboard lines, and the down, or the horizontal, right? So 2, 1, it's got to be 3 across. Yeah, 2, 1, 3. So from both sides, that's 3. So 3 across, 3 across, and it should be the hollow one, and 2 vertical, and it should be the checkered one. Yeah, this one. All right, which of the following does not have the same meaning as the other words? We have anxious, apprehensive, distressed, enthusiastic, and concerned. So anxious, apprehensive, distressed, and concerned. Obviously enthusiastic is quite the opposite. So that one is. What is the next number in the series? 4, 5, 11, 34, 137. Okay, what's going on here? All right, this one is not immediately obvious to me. 4, 5, 11, 34, 137. Very little about those numbers stand out to me. 3 of them are prime numbers, but the other 2 are obviously not. No, that's not prime. None of those are prime, so it doesn't matter. 4, 5. This is almost double this. This is almost triple this. This is almost quadruple this, but they're not, but it's not quite. All right, then what would this be? So if this is double, triple, quadruple, but not quite, then this would be single. But then it wouldn't be a 4. It's slightly different as well. Okay, so 4 times 1 is 4, but then plus 1 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10, but then plus 1 is 11. 11 times 3 is 33, but then okay. So is that what it's doing? So we're, yeah. Okay, well, let me check this. 34 times 4 is 136. Yeah, which is 1 less. That's, all right, that's hard to, yeah. That's hard. I think, yeah, that is a difficult one, I think, but I think that's it. So, okay, well, let me see if this is an answer then. So then 5 times this would be a number ending, oh yeah, a number ending in a 5, but plus 1 would be a 6. So, yeah, 385 137 times 5 is 385 plus 1, or not 385, 685. 685 plus 1 is 686. This one is about 8 times harder as anything that's been there so far. So, cool, I guess. But yeah, that's the first one. Maybe that's the longest I took on one. But that one's not too bad. Accept and accept have different meanings or unrelated. What would the difference be? Well, they're not similar. They're not the same. They're not similar. They're not. They're mildly related. They're mildly related. But not really. I'm just thinking you accept someone, but then you accept everyone except that person. So accepting would be receiving something, accept would be excluding something. So they're kind of, maybe that's too, this should be clearer, because how are these different? Because if you said they're different and they're also unrelated, then you're not wrong. If you said they're unrelated, they could be different without, I don't know. The other question said unrelated, like the choices were like same, opposite, and unrelated. Similar, different, and unrelated. Difference, weird. They obviously are different. I think they're not related enough to care about. Like you could make them related by saying that, but they're not like opposites. They're kind of opposites, but they're not really. No one says like, the opposite of accept is usually reject. So I think unrelated is right. So, I mean, it is true that like they have opposite connotations, but you would not use them as opposites. For the most part. All right, unrelated's fine. Oh, is that it? All right. Do I? Okay, it says I need a survey, but I don't need a survey. Okay, thank you for completing the quiz. Each correct answer is 10 points. Score is 290. There were 30 questions. All right. Okay, yeah, ocean. This one I wasn't 100%. Oh, okay. Yeah, I wasn't 100% because the official name of the ocean is not Antarctic, and sometimes you call Antarctica the Antarctic. So I wasn't 100% certain, but I was pretty sure. Yeah, many people get it wrong by mistaking the continent for... I think this is kind of a dick question, to be honest, because... One, because you know that that's not the official, like, if anyone really, like, this is why I think it's kind of anti the pedantic stuff, that if someone knows that really it's called the Southern Ocean, they could come to the same technical thing to say, well, it's not the ocean then, it must be the Antarctic or something. Like, that one seems like a dick move. Anyway, I knew what they wanted, obviously, but that seems like a bit of a dick question. Especially since not only is it like a newly recognized ocean, but it's newly recognized without even having that name. Like that's tenuous at best, but whatever. I won't belabor that. Yeah, that was right. I mean, obviously most of them are right. I mean, I think I know which one's wrong. Yeah. Okay. That is exactly what they meant, and they're wrong. So, yeah. So if 150 profit is 25% of the sales, then the total sales would be $600. 150 divided by 0.5. 600 divided into 25 pairs would be the $24 a pair. But this is not what they said. They did not say the profit of $150 was 25% of the sales. They said they made a 25% profit. That would imply above and beyond the cost. If your profit was $150 and the sales were $600, then that means your cost was $450. So your profit was 33%, not 25%. So, but if your sales were $750 and your costs were $600, then $150 is 25% above the $600. It's 25% of the amount you invested. So if someone gave you a stock and said you made a profit of 25%, they don't really mean that you made a third profit, or that 25% of the money you now have is profit. That doesn't make any sense. So I had a feeling that this is what they meant, but this is the correct answer. I'm willing to die on that hill. And I called this out before we got there. So yeah, let me know in the comments if you disagree with that or if you think that's right. But I think I'm willing to take the hit on that because I think they are wrong. I think this is not correct. That they did not say 25% of the sales. They said a 25% profit, making a 25% profit. Anyway, I won't belabor it, but that's it, basically. So this has stopped our perfect score today. So what was the other? Oh yeah, oh, that's weird. This is not what I thought it was. But we got there anyway. Is that just sheer coincidence? I think that's just absolute coincidence that it works out that way. So if you take, this is 5, this is 7, this is 9, this is 11, this is 13, and that purely by coincidence, each square is the last square plus 3. That doesn't make any sense. That's a really interesting relationship. Well, I guess that makes sense then. Yeah, so 5, I guess I knew that maybe on some level. So 4, 9, 16, 25 do go up by the same progression. So yeah. So I mean, this is right no matter how you do it, but that is an ostensibly weird way to do it, but it's correct, obviously. So yeah, 4 to 9 is 5, 9 to 16 is 7, 16 to 25 is 9. So it goes up by 2 when you go by the square numbers. I never thought of that, but does that continue ad infinitum? I think it does. I mean, it must. So I don't know, that's cool. So that's a more complicated thing than we were doing, just adding a number that went up by 2 every time. But that's cool. Either way, it's the same answer no matter how you did it. Yeah, that's fine. I wanted to see if there were more of those notes of like, this is why people get this one wrong, or this is what people do, because some of these I'm like, who got it wrong? Okay, yeah. 4 times 1 plus 1. 5 times 2 plus 1. Okay. I'm going to say this question by far probably 3 times harder than the next closest question. I don't know if people agree or whether you'll see that right away, but I think this was just by far the hardest question. Yeah, I don't really like. To accept is to take or receive, while to accept is the exclusion of. When you put it that way, they're obviously unrelated, but an unrelated thing is also different. So I think that's a bad question as well. Like, the question's fine, but the possible answers, if something is unrelated, by definition is different. So that's a dumb one, because that was a coin flip. I only picked unrelated because in a previous question, unrelated was the answer, and I figured they might like the language. But that one would have been an absolute coin flip. If they didn't have the previous question, I probably would have put different. So, okay, cool. Yay. All right, that's so we scored in the range that goes to perfect. I still claim that was perfect and the question is wrong. I want bonus points for knowing that the test is in itself wrong. Yeah, but definitely that's the one thing I'm curious what people think. What do you think? Based on the way this is worded, which one should be correct? And let me know. So I think that's fun. I'm going to do probably a few more of these in future, and I think, I don't know, I thought that was kind of fun. And I'm going to do a bunch of random trivia, and I think I'm going to play GeoGuessr at some point. But anyway, if you like this sort of thing, drop a like to let me know that this is interesting. If not, then I don't know, maybe this is just self-indulgent or boring to everyone to watch, but let me know. And thanks.